if something's been going on for years, we're just asking you and everyone, that means the likelihood of leaning in the direction of what is stronger than leaning in the direction of what is preferred. So there's obviously in this conversation going to be a sort of tug of war going on between what's been happening and what you prefer to happen. Yes? So we are going to utilize all of the resources of non-physical, in other words, the energy that creates worlds, to focus upon the resolution, upon the solution. And we're going to ask you to do your best to be a cooperative component. In other words, don't argue too much against what we know you want. Argue with us for what you want. Yes? All right.
Alrighty, so there was a paranormal experience that I had went through, and it was how I will say this, it was some kind of like time travel. And what had happened is that I feel like I am being hit really bad with some kind of karma. Basically, like the story.
We will hear you fully, but we want to say to you that we sort of began there today, but you couldn't quite hear it, but we want you to hear it now. When who you are is pure positive energy, and what you ask for causes you to continue to evolve, then thoughts in opposition to that feel really, really strong. It feels like a force. It isn't a force. There's no source of darkness. There's just absence of the light. There's no source of evil. But there are rivers and streams of thoughts that if you get far enough from satisfaction into dissatisfaction, it actually feels that there is a force that is pulling you, and it's just the counterbalance to who you really are. In other words, hear this simple statement. If someone that you didn't know called you on the telephone and said, "You don't know me, I'm just letting you know that I'm not ever going to call you again," you would not feel that concern. You'd say, "Well, thanks a lot for letting me know." But when something really, 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 really matters to you, and you get crossways of that, that's a strong tugging, and it causes you to assign all kinds of importance to it, like karma. We promise you that there isn't any of that that is pulling against you. Anything that is pulling against you here and now in this lifetime is only your own thoughts pulling against your own thoughts. That's all that it is. And we don't mean to imply that we think that it doesn't feel real to you. It certainly is real, but it's not some outside force that has any control on you whatsoever.
Yeah, thank you. That really clears it up.
Well, it gives you a little bit of relief if you believe it.
It does.
And so?
So actually what happened, I was involved with some women in the past, and I felt that I mistreated them. So with this whole very paranormal time travel thing that was happening, they were manifesting with like the same everything, like same names, same appearance, and only things were being flipped around where what I did to them, they were doing to me.
Well, we don't doubt that you had an altered state of consciousness. We're not questioning any of that. We just want you to understand that in that experience that you had, where you clearly knew what you didn't want, did you come in that, what you're calling the time travel, or what we're calling the altered state? Could you feel within it a desire for what? What's the desire that was born out of that?
I was playing a video game called Chrono Trigger. So really, it was actually wanting to go back, and I wanted to reverse all the wrong that I had did to flee it from like my conscience.
All right, so here's what we want you to hear. We really want you to hear this. You don't have to go back and undo anything. In fact, when you try, you don't undo it, you redo it. Your attention to anything like that just activates the vibration all over again. So you don't go back and undo it, but as you experienced it, or as you recalled it, or as you had these stronger experiences about it. You launched stronger rockets. That's what we were talking about, of who you are, how you want to be. And now all you have to do is move in the direction of that with your thoughts and words and actions. It gets so complicated in your physical human world. As you say, I need about the subject that's been plaguing you. It's any subject that causes you to align with who you really are. Any thought of love or appreciation aligns you with who you are. You may be thinking that we are making it simpler than it is, but we aren't. It is that simple. You are source energy. And sometimes you let yourself be the source energy that you are, and you feel great. And sometimes you don't let yourself be the source energy that you are. Regret is such a wasted moment in time, because in regret, you're just holding yourself apart from your inner being, who only loves you and sees value in everything that you've lived. And we are certain that the reason that you had such a dramatic experience, where it felt to you that you were being shown a karmic sort of flipping, is because your desire for goodness and your desire for upliftment and your desire to be of value is so strong that when you think for a moment that you've done something other than that, you sort of freak out. You just can't stand that at many levels of your being, you see. We just want you to know that your inner being is always calling you to the love that you really are. And when for any reason you don't go that way, then you just don't feel good. You just lived a sort of dramatic amplification of that. That's all it is.
I actually read in your book that changing your belief requires focus and practice. How does a person change their belief like that?
Well, you don't. That's really the point of what we're talking about here today, that beliefs can be bridged gradually, but you've practiced your beliefs into place, and law of attraction is affirming the beliefs that you hold. So if you've got a belief that is not serving you and you want to change it, then it's usually a gradual process. Here's the easiest way that we know. We think you'll hear this clearly. So we stand here in all of this non-physical confidence. We know the laws of the universe. We know how they apply to all that is. And we know what thoughts accomplish and how law of attraction responds to those thoughts. And we know how thoughts turn to things. In other words, we understand the whole process. And so we stand before you and answer your questions and speak with the authority that the knowledge that we hold, you might say the beliefs that we hold, we're going to call it knowledge, you call it beliefs, the knowledge that we hold. And so we say to you the things that we say. But we know that until you have, for example, put yourself in a meditative state where you've really allowed yourself to release resistance for the moment, because when you meditate effectively, you stop thought. When you stop thought, you stop resistant thought. And when you stop resistant thought, your vibration rises. And when your vibration rises, you achieve vibrational alignment with your inner being. That's that mutuality that we talk about. That's that vibrational compatibility. That's that tuned in, turned on, tapped in that we talk about. So when you allow your vibration to rise, now you're in what we are calling the receiving mode of your inner being. And when you are in that receiving mode of your inner being, that receptivity allows you to then know what your inner being knows. So as your inner being knows something or thinks something, it occurs to you. It might occur to you as a thought or an impulse, but when it does, when you're in that aligned state, when it does, you feel interest. It's like, it feels like a really good idea. That's where inventions come from, and things that you call epiphanies, clarity. As it occurs to you, it just feels wonderful. And so then if you follow that impulse that came to you under those conditions, and then you get to witness the outcome of that impulse, then you know. You've shown it to yourself. Then it's not just a bunch of words that some woman, wherever in the world she's getting those words, is spewing to all of you. Because this is just someone else's opinion when you think about it. How do you know who we are? How do you know what we know? How do you know if we come from where we come from? How do you know that any of this makes any sense at all? Sounds really good. It's utterly consistent. We'll tell you there's not a shred of evidence to the contrary, but how do you know that we know that? You don't know until you listen a little, maybe feel some resonance with it a little, maybe meditate and find alignment, get an idea and follow the idea, and then see that you get to witness the universe responding to you in the way that we've explained that it will. Because words don't teach. It's only life experience that teaches. And so we're always happy to offer words to maybe help you feel some resonance with what you know. Mostly we want you to know that everything that you're about is about the evolution of that which is you. You are the creator of your own reality, which means you are the creator of you. But we promise you, there are so many people who get so mixed up about how it happens. The reason that religions are so uncomfortable for so many people, not all, and not all religions, we're not taking a stand for or against them, but people, we love you so much, but you just keep making up stuff to explain what's going wrong in your world, instead of following your own guidance and moving towards your own satisfaction to discover the things that can go well in your world for you. You see, there are so many who are quick to say that you must have had past lives, you must have done some things in past lives that now you're paying for in this life, or that you did something in this life and now you must pay for that. And we say, it's true in this sense. The vibration that you've got going on is your point of attraction, and your point of attraction will bring to you, but you will never bring to you unwanted things when you feel good. When you feel that true resonance with your inner being, you're in a state of only allowing the thoughts of your experience to turn to things that are pleasing to yourself and others in your world. You see.